Part 2 of the engine test stand project. Welcome to part 2 of test stand build, whatever you want to call it. Got our engine stand set up. Got our upper and lower radiator hoses set up so we can get our height measurement on how high we want to make our test stand. We use this radiator right over here. It's just a regular big block 4-core radiator that I had laying around. We're going to use that. Let's see, here we go. Just kind of give you an idea what we got going on. Just a test stand with the battery, fuel cell, and the gauges, tack, oil, temperature, some switches, and our radiator. That's kind of a brief idea or a rough idea of what we're going to be building here. So that's what we got going on. I've got some steel. I bought the steel yard earlier today. Just 1-inch square tubing, 1 by 1 by 1/8 inch. And I've got some 3-inch by 1/8 inch flat steel for the pads for the rollers. We're going to fab this all up to make a standalone test stand to roll up that'll be separate from this stand. It'll just have the radiator and everything on it. Roll up to this stand, hook it all up, and be able to start a motor up. Not this motor, because this motor's junk. So while I'm cutting pieces out, I'll let my youngest boy practice welding. He's welding everything up. So it's coming together pretty quickly. Not much to this little stand, but get the boy some practice, and we'll have a stand put together in no time. I still got a few good welds left in me. Not too bad for being way out of practice. Alright, I pretty much got it most of the way fabbed up the way I like it. I got to trim a few more places and make a few more welds on it and be ready to go or ready to paint. I also want to make a somehow get this will be my instrument panel, but I want to put it on a post where it swivels around to where I can see the gauges, you know if I'm on the other side. These are my brackets hanging up, getting ready to paint them for the electric fans. I got everything all kind of mocked up, and I tested my fans out. I haven't tested them out in a long time. They were actually the fans I used to have on my crew cab buddy, and actually this is the radiator out of him also that I'm going to be using. But I switched radiators. I put a big the 6.2 diesel radiator in it. It's quite a bit longer, and put a different set of electric fans that pull a little more air on them. This project's getting strung out over several days. That took a few minutes this morning after I got off work to work on the instrument panel a little bit. Got my holes drilled for the gauges, all my switches, my start button. That's where the tack's gonna go. Got the post welded on there. And I got it kind of cleaned up, ready to squirt some paint on it. I'll get it painted, and it's actually gonna be a couple days before I can really do much more with this project. I've got to work a bunch of overtime the next couple days, so at work. But I'll get it painted, that way it'll be nice and dry and cured before I get to play around with it again and hooking all the wires up. I've got a fuse block ordered to put on the back of it so I can actually do the wiring halfway right. Okay, so my painting of this didn't go over so well. I've painted it like 2 or 3 times, just ain't happy with it. This last time I thought, I'm gonna do great. Primered it, wet sanded it, made it nice and slick, and then I'm just a dummy, and my paint reacted with my primer. I didn't have the right stuff, so just trying to use what I had sitting in the shelf, and this is what I got. It's ugly. So I thought, instead of messing around with painting it, I got this roll of carbon fiber vinyl wrap. I think that's going to look pretty slick. So that's where we're headed with this part of the project. Well, any of you that do vinyl wrap for a living, you don't have to worry about me taking your job. It's just kind of a pain in the butt. It's probably just a low quality vinyl to begin with, but I think it'll work out all right. It'll serve its purpose. Now, I'll start setting my gauges in and wiring it up. I'm going to start out my temperature gauge, get it set in there, nothing to it, just to do it. Oil pressure, that look pretty good. The other hole is for a vacuum gauge, which hasn't come in yet. It'll be a white face. It's a different brand, but at least it's white face. It'll kind of match. Those are the 3 things that I really want to keep an eye on when I'm breaking the motor in: is temperatures and oil pressures and vacuums. And for any of those that I have never hooked the oil pressure gauge up, a manual one, you've got this deal here, and what's called the ferrule. You see that? Put your tube through, put your ferrule on with just a little bit of the tube sticking through, Of course, until you tighten it down, that ferrule will slide on there. But make sure the long taper, like that, goes into your gauge. You can kind of get it finger tight, put your hose in all the way, and then get the appropriate wrench or a fits all. I carry one of these in my pocket. It's a little 4-inch crescent wrench, adjustable wrench anyways. I carry one in my pocket. I've carried one since I was probably 10 years old. Dad gave me one. My gauge spun a little bit. These ain't gonna be super tight. Starting to look pretty slick. This carbon fiber. Look at that. Woo-wee. My tack. Just a cheap tack off of the Amazon. It's even got a dial here with the shift light, which we won't be doing any shifting on this stand, but I guess I could set it to certain RPM so I know I don't over rev it. Hell, I don't know. We got my vacuum gauge came in today. Got my oil pressures gauge, temperature gauge, my main switch. This will turn everything on. This will be my fan switch, hooked to relays to turn the fans on. Ignition for the ignition coil, and my start button. Then on the back side, I've got my fuse block. It's a little crooked. We'll ignore that fact. But got a fuse block here. I'll have the fuses. This is the negative side, positive side. Kind of cool. And I got my relays here for my fans. It's all starting to come together. Now it's just a matter of kind of hooking it all up. I think I'm about done with the whole start stand project, and I'm excited. I'm super excited about this. This is awesome. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It may not be as cool to everybody else, but I'm excited about this. This is something I've wanted for a long time. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm kind of shaking the camera with my other hand because I talk with my hands. I gotta learn to move one hand when I'm holding the camera. Anyways, it turned out pretty good. It could be better. I'm not a professional. It is what it is. But I've got vacuum gauge, oil, temperature, my main switch, fans, ignition, start, tack. It all works. I've kind of tested it. The only problem I've had is my cheap Amazon vacuum gauge. It doesn't read as accurate as I'd like to. It reads lower than my other two vacuum gauges I've got. I've tested it, so I may source a better quality vacuum gauge. But anyway, it looks pretty cool, and it all is going to work. And I'll show you. I'll show you how it works, even though there's a motor that won't run, but I can show you how everything works. First thing is, I'll just kind of give you a quick runaround of this. I've already showed you this, but I'm so excited. Just bear with me. You know, got all my gauges, got my switches, carbon fiber, got a couple stickers. I've reserved this spot for one of my square body stuff stickers. And yeah, about the only thing I've got left to do is hook my fuel line up. I don't know what I did. I'm going to have a shut-off valve. That way I can shut the valve off not worry about spilling a bunch of fuel everywhere. I don't know what I done with my shutoff valve. I misplaced it, or I don't know what I did with it. But anyways, so the fuel system isn't quite done yet, but as you can see, this block doesn't even have a fuel pump on it to even hook it to. So, oh, yeah, check this out. I just got one of my new shirts in today. Had to order me a crew cab shirt because I've got a crew cab. I didn't make any flatbed ones. I might, if there's a request for them, I might make some flatbed ones, but I want to get a crew cab shirt. Some of my merchandise. That's the front. This is the back. You gotta see that. That's pretty cool. I'm excited about my merchandise. And actually, while I'm talking about merchandise, I want to show you guys something else here that's going on. This is a shirt I bought. Oop, there we go. It's American Square Bodies. That's a, you see that? There we go. This is a shirt a guy put together. Josh Mock. He's got a pretty cool Facebook group going on. It's American Square Bodies. He put some shirts together, trying to get some funds together to get him in a square body. Apparently, he's without a square body. He's got a Facebook group. His square body, it ended up getting rolled or something like that. A bad accident. Everybody's fine, but he's trying to get some funds to maybe get him back into square bodies. So if anybody can help him out with that, go to American Square Bodies Facebook group and check out his Teespring store. Obviously, go check out my Teespring store and check out my merchandise. I got some pretty cool stuff on there. Anyway, let's get back to this test stand. This is awesome. I'm excited. I don't even know where to start because I've already started. So I'm going to show you how everything works. Now obviously this gauge is different than these two, so the colors are different, but it's pretty cool. Hold on, let me go shut my shop door because I think that light is kind of messing with some stuff. Turn my main switch on. All my lights come on. Tack lights up. All that stuff lights up. That's pretty cool. And put the fan switch. Fans come on. Both of them, they move a lot of air. And they're hooked up on relays. Let me shut that off. A little quieter. But I got them on 30 amp relays individually. Of course, I got a little fuse box back here. My wiring's kind of a mess. I'm not a wiring guy, and I got a lot of the same color wires, but it's not, it's not a space shuttle, so it's not that big of a deal if I have to diagnose any problems with this. I did color coordinate some of it, but I just had some wire laying around. I tried to use what I had laying around. But anyways, so that's just kind of my mess I've got going on back here. But things are fused and kind of halfway right. So, yeah, I got fans work. This is the ignition switch. Flip the ignition switch on. And this is the start button. What's cool about this is when I'm working on the motor, sitting here, we'll pretend there's a carburetor up here. Womp, womp, womp. Just kind of got things mocked up. I guess I should have put a carburetor on there to kind of make it look even more legitimate, but it really don't matter. So, but I do have a spark plug wire hooked to the distributor and power to the distributor. I've got my ignition switch on, and when I push the start button, I got a spark. Starter works, spark works. That's pretty cool. So, of course, I got oil pressure gauge mocked up back here. I tested it with my shop air, make sure the gauge works. It works. I tested my temperature sending unit with a lighter. You can heat this element up with a lighter, and the gauge will move. Maybe I can set the camera up on a tripod and show you guys that. I don't know. I'm kind of like a little kid that's got a new toy and just want to show it off to everybody. This is really cool. It may not be as cool to some other people. I've already said that. I'm just excited. I can't wait to pull a motor out of one of the trucks. I'm not sure which one I'm going to do first. I am actually thinking, well, we'll just keep that a surprise. That'll be in a upcoming video. Which truck I pull the motor out of. Do a cam swap. I'm going to do a cam swap in actually all three of the trucks. Cream Puff, Squeaky, and Big Nasty. Or not Big Nasty. Maybe someday. But Buddy, my crew cab. So, yeah, I'm pretty cool. I'm pretty excited. This has been a long time coming. So we'll kind of cut it off here, and I guess the last thing I want to say is don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. But I need some subscriptions. Get me pushed up there, and also don't forget to go check out my merchandise. See, I got my new shirt on now. Looks pretty good. I like the way they turned out. I wasn't sure how they was going to turn out. You never know when you're designing on a computer and then it shows up in person how it's actually going to turn out. So I think they turned out really good. These are my own designs. I drew these up myself. This is not clip art off of the computer. This is me. I've done this. My original logo on the back. Yeah. Anyways, you guys have seen it. The truck part of it, that was clip art off of Google Images. I added the little bearded guy with the hat on it and kind of done my own touches to it, but maybe eventually I will change that towards my own art, but it's going to kind of stay that way for now. So go check out my Teespring store. The link is in the description of every one of my videos. Also, go check me out on Instagram and my Facebook page. It's all Square Body Stuff. Google Square Body Stuff. You should be able to find me. So I guess for now, I'll leave you with that. And maybe next time I get with you, or maybe not next time. I got a couple other short videos I think I'm gonna come up with, but in the near future we'll have an actual running motor instead of this pile of crap that don't run. It's busted. The block's froze. It's got cracks everywhere, but it does turn over. I'm surprised it actually turned over, but that was kind of cool. Maybe next time you see this whole setup, we'll have an actual running engine on there and make some noise. That's about it. See ya.